Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2. Shreddin and Jammin and Strummin and Singin. And you'll find out why when you meet everybody. And are they all back in place? Yes, they are! Let me put you all back on. Say hello to the nice folks, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, nice folks, and everyone else.
Hello. Okay, so you guys may have seen last week's episode. I just throw a question out at you, and some of the viewers will send questions over too. And oh, Jason, that's so bad. You need to shave too. So yeah, that's ugly. So let's talk about what happens. We're going to talk about basically your life in local music, and we've got a few questions, and we may, expound on it. If you have something to say, jump in, but be courteous. Okay? No politics. Right?
Aww.
Yeah. Ready to go?
Ready.
How old were you when you discovered that music was going to be part of your life? And we'll start with Irwin, because I know the answer to this one. Jason?
You gotta answer questions?
You have to answer questions.
I didn't know that.
He's lying. He did know that.
He would have studied.
He needs to
when
study
music was
that
part of my life?
What? How old were you when you discovered music? It was going to be, in your life, permanently.
Well, probably when I was in 4th grade.
So that was what? 10? Was that about the time that you were banging drums 2 doors down from me and driving me absolutely insane? Was it drums first?
Those weren't drums I was banging.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, because it kept me awake.
Do you guys really know each other that long? How long do you guys know each other?
Since he was 6 years old.
No way! No way? That's amazing.
Yeah, he lived he moved into my neighborhood when he was 6, and he lived 2 doors down from me until I moved out when I was, 18, 19, 20 or something like that.
I had no idea. That's amazing that you guys go back that far.
And I used to babysit him too.
No way! Is that so? Oh my god!
It's absolutely true. So anyway,
these are little factoids of upstate New York music scene that I did not know. That's amazing.
Yeah. And another fact is, and I hope Danny's watching, his dad came into my DJ booth at DJ's one night and said, "Hey, Jason's interested in this, getting into this. What do you think?" And I said, "Bring him up, and I'll show him around." And he was young. He was really young. And he never did bring him, but he was very interested in what Jason was doing, music-wise as a kid. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, how old were you? 10?
Well, I was in 4th grade, and I started playing in the orchestra at in school. And we couldn't play, like, instruments, like real instruments, like drums or guitar or anything like that. So that was
play violin?
So I had to play violin.
Not a real instrument.
Oh, no.
Not a real instrument.
So,
I'm sorry to play violin.
Okay,
I didn't mean that.
Okay, but when you were in 4th grade, did you think this is it? Music is going to be in my life? Or was it just let me get through band and out of the school?
No, I wanted to be in band, so I went through a year of violin, and my mother was going to kill me, so she told me to play something else, so I picked drums.
Oh, thanks, Debbie. That's why I heard the drums.
I was in drums all through school. I played in band.
I remember.
I wore that big hat, and I did the marching band, and no girls liked me, and
I don't remember that at all. Mr. Pryce, what about you? How old were you?
Well, I first played guitar around 17 when I discovered Jimi Hendrix. I remember just hearing a couple tunes and being like, this is the coolest thing ever. And me, a dork, might also be cool if I could do that sort of stuff. So I got a guitar when I was 17, I want to say. And I knew that it was going to be a part of my, my stuff because I just always enjoyed practicing. Like I always say that I've never been bored since I picked up the guitar because I'll just pour hours into scales or learning songs or writing songs or whatever. So ever since then, I just never put it down and go back and forth between the bass and the keyboard and just just in a cycle. It's just always been that way, and it really always started with Jimi Hendrix. It really did.
Wow. That's a yeah, but if you got to have a somebody. Yes, Jason.
What's
You don't have to raise your hand. What's a scale? From the man who can't play an F chord. Okay, so Jimi Hendrix. That's a good influence, a good role model. If you've got to pick somebody for shredding. That's
almost
that's
cliche, but it's definitely true.
Yeah. Niki and Bob. Let's go with Bob first.
Okay, well, you took that choice out. That's good. First, I got a compliment. Is it Matt Pryce with the great background with the lights?
Yeah, isn't that
I've
awesome?
taken lessons, taken notes. Thank you. We'll have to do better than this white thing back here.
All credit to my wife.
Hi, Gabby.
Who is watching upstairs while I think she browns the meat for tacos tonight in a little bit here, but she's the set designer. She has a better eye for this stuff than I do. She's always like,
yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome.
Well done.
I like Jason with his self-strobe too. That's very good. Wow, 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 wow.
No
So
disco
in any
ball?
case,
No disco ball, Jason? Okay. So let's talk to Bob.
I grew up in a musical family. Grandmother was in the house. She played piano. Mom and dad in the choir. Dad played ragtime boogie woogie piano. My mom played a little piano, blah, blah, blah. So, I was repeating Hootenanny shows, which dates me, at age 3 or 4 years old. Okay, we're done with dinner. It's time for Bob's repetition of last night's Hootenanny, when we would sit up and watch that, and the freaking Kingston Trio. I mean, old. But, and that was on from there. I made a deal with my folks in first grade was when we got to play instruments in school. And I'm like, I wanted to play drums. And my parents were like, that's not a real instrument. If you have to play piano, and then we'll let you play drums. So I played piano for, took lessons till I got hit adolescence, and did the same thing. Marching band was there. We smuggled beer in the tri-toms though, so we had maybe a little more fun in marching band. But it wasn't even ever really a decision. I was immersed in it, and then played piano and drums for a long time, and then sort of like Matt there, picked up an acoustic guitar. I was probably even a little older, like 19 years old, before I realized, whoa, this is the instrument for me. Right. And I'm glad I have all that other background, but the one that is intuitive and comes from my soul is guitar. So, but it was mostly early development. Make your kid play piano whether they like it or not.
Yeah. Niki?
Boy, is that true.
Wait, drums aren't on a real instrument now?
What is a real instrument? We can bang on the floor, and that's a real instrument.
Everything could be an instrument.
That's my belief. I kind of also was very lucky to have a school music program. If anything, from hearing these stories, I have to advocate for school music programs, because they're such an essential part of inspiring people to create music, and music is a fabric of life that is so important. But like Jason, my parents, I played the saxophone. I would be banished to the farthest corner of the house. People were like, please, we don't want to hear you practice. It would be so embarrassing. Maybe I even have a psychological problem from it, but I persevered. Didn't matter, because I needed to play so much. I didn't care.
I got one better than that. I was embarrassed because I played the French horn.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's challenging. My kid went through.
I was so bored with it. What cool shit could you do with a French horn?
Oh,
now you can.
Saxophone, trombone.
Well, back in the day,
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band tribute band with the French horn, of course.
But how many songs can you do with a French horn back in the 70s when I was in school? You couldn't. So it was like a boring instrument. I had to throw it aside, and I picked up an acoustic guitar for a while, and then I got rid of that because then I like boys, and I decided I wanted to be a DJ. I know. So
you're gonna have to give me some DJ tips.
Okay.
So basically, what happened was, after I got through my woodwind fascination, I moved to the guitar as well, and that's where I lived, 16 on. And I started writing songs, and I knew I would never stop writing songs. I couldn't help myself. But it was the guitar in 16 was when I really started.
Matt LaFarr, your fan club's here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Locano, Bengal, you know.
Nice.
That whole crowd. And so, Niki, just to finish off with that. So, how old were you when you picked up that guitar? Do you remember?
I was 16.
Okay.
I took lessons at the Hilton in Latham, and the people there talked to me. I had a folk guitar, and they talked me into buying a classical guitar. I traded.
Oh, wow.
So, but I learned classical guitar, and it really helped me. It helped me a lot, even though at the time I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, but anyway, it was like, you know.
You have the
when I was
7 second
16,
delay
I was
on
like,
there?
why? But it was a good thing.
It's not 7 seconds, Matt. But no, we don't bleep because we had Brother T last week, and there was no way I could bleep everything out of him.
The titty
there was no. Oh yeah, the titty
You're
twisting.
lucky you're
and the whole
virtual.
thing.
Because I could pinch your nipples right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and he would have pinched everybody in the whole show. So, but his I couldn't delay him, and I could have had 10 seconds. I still wouldn't have been able to delay.
It wouldn't have helped.
Right. So, yeah. So I'm getting a pattern here. You start with one instrument, and you eventually roll into the one you really like. How about you, Matt LaFarr? I know that you started pretty young.
Yeah, I probably got my first guitar when I was 8. It was a plastic Gene Autry guitar that had like steer horns and cows and stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I left it in the chair. My brother sat on it and broke it. And from there, I got a Les Paul copy from Seeley's auction. My parents got it for me for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And been playing ever since, from way back when, taking lessons from Mark Caruso, still the best around in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
great. Love that guy.
Pretty much taught me everything I knew for years.
So is it always the guitar and nothing but the guitar?
I mean, I've played my fair share of clam banjo.
Okay.
No, I play, I was a classical guitar major in college, so I had to do piano and all that too. But then I play banjo and mandolin enough to play banjo and mandolin when needed. But, I don't call myself a banjo player or a mandolin player, but I can learn songs like, when we did Mumford and Sons or whatever, But if someone's looking for a banjo player for a gig, that's not me.
You can learn it though. You could learn it. If you got like 10 songs and they were like, LaFarr, learn these tunes, you could definitely knock that out.
If I had to.
How many Kiss songs do you know on banjo?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Black Diamond is a beautiful song when done bluegrass style.
It is. It's great. But yeah, so of course Kiss, I got my first Kiss album when I was 8, Kiss Alive 2. And that pretty much set me on the road to wanting to be a musician.
We have
I grew up on the mean streets of Fort Edward, where if the PCBs didn't get you, Cuckoo would. So
yeah, well, Cuckoo's your cousin.
I know, I was safe, but so
I wasn't safe from him. He was across the street from me.
Everyone in my neighborhood.
I'm not from around here, so all this OG history is all new to me here.
I grew up in Fort Edward till I was like 12, and my grandmother lived across the street from Cuckoo, and so I would see him all the time. His cousin was a little.
He was out there.
Yeah, he was out there. He used to carry a huge snake around his neck around downtown and just try to scare us. And he was a weird sort of fella. And but when you got to know him as you got older and you got to know him, you realized he had a little problem. Stop that, Jason. Stop it right now. You're not making any money here.
He might get some bidders on that.
Yeah, you might, but don't. I'm not taking it. Okay. So we're back to talking about Cuckoo. So Fort Edward, I know Fort Edward, and I know where you grew up, down the street from my cousin. Yep. And that's not all right, mean street, sort of, but I mean, you didn't go to Fort. You didn't go. You were down by the point, but you didn't go to Fort Edward School. You went up to St. Mary's, so you got the whole right. And St. Mary's was one of the really great parochial schools in upstate New York, and probably in this part of the country. So you had a really quality music education.
Not there. No, all I did was screw around.
Oh. You didn't take advantage of the nuns and learn anything.
No, but I mean, I loved music and I loved guitar and theory. I mean, I just studied it on my own forever, and having Mark Caruso as a teacher, so I was working on scales and theory and stuff just incessantly. I was obsessed with it.
Right. And
Jason, you're just selling anything that's in your house at this point, right?
He's got his girlfri's underweare there. I don't know.
Is that underwear?
Wait a minute. Is that actually Lisa's underwear? Or is
it a face mask? Is it a bandana?
No, it was her underwear. It was one of her thongs or something.
I'm so sorry, whoever has to deal with that.
Yeah, well, too many people have to deal with him. So, Matt Pryce, what were you just saying? You got cut off?
Oh no, I was just trying to bid on that ramen noodle.
Oh, okay.
I know. This is let's make a deal now.
Right. We have our first question from the audience, and I'm going to throw it out there to keep Jason interested. From Sean Mack, and he says, "My son is 10 and he's a DJ. What is the most important thing to remember as a DJ?"
Don't ever play anybody's requests.
I wouldn't have said that, but okay. Anybody else want to chime in on that one?
I have no DJ experience, so I cannot help in that. But I know that Jason, do you have an answer for that question besides?
That was his answer. Well, that was his answer.
As an answer to DJs, I would say you got to find the groove. You got to find that beat that gets people dancing, and when you see them jumping up and down, stick with it.
Yeah, you've got to keep the floor going.
If you're DJing for a lot of people, try to make the most of the people happy, not the individual. Try to keep the entire groove going. And if you're playing a certain kind of music and people are liking it, then you're doing the right thing. And if somebody wants to hear something that just doesn't make sense, try to make everybody happy, but it's not possible.
Yeah, that's
absolutely true.
That's why you don't play all the requests
and then don't play it.
Yeah, you don't play all the requests. You use your brain. I mean, if it doesn't fit and it's going to blow your floor, don't do it.
Somebody like me approaches the DJ like a snobbish jerk and be like, "Hey, DJ guy, let's play some really deep cuts from these Zappa albums." And then
where's your $100 bill? I'd say.
Right.
Where's your $100 bill?
It's not a good plan for the party, really.
And it would have to be minimum $100 for me to throw that shit into my dance floor. I'm telling you. I like Frank Zappa, but I wouldn't play it.
It's certainly not a club.
What's a picture of you?
I thought actually he was. Stop.
Yep, there you are. How old is that, Jason?
Nice.
How old is that picture, Jason? No, $20 for the picture. I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
Old too.
I found these the other day, Niki.
That's awesome. That's Full Toy Explosion. That was one of my bands. I had a band called Full Toy Explosion.
Full Toy Explosion. I'm not gonna ask.
Matt LaFarr too.
I'm a little quirky.
Matt actually doesn't do that one, does he? No.
I do Ace, but
you do Ace, yeah.
I thought that was a picture of you.
That was a picture of you. I recognized you.
I have a picture from that as well.
Awesome.
But I'm not talking about that night.
Okay, we won't ask you. We'll just move on to the next question.
Move along.
Okay, Jason, starting with you again. Which of these words, which of these 4 words would you use to describe yourself and why? Shredder, jammer, strummer, or singer?
Why does it sound like a Steve Miller song?
No, it's actually me humming Dusty Springfield, wishing and hoping. That's what I came up with.
I'm a joker. I'm a toker.
That too.
I'd say I'm a strummer and a singer.
Okay, and why? Why do you say that?
because I can't shred at all. I can play. I can play a few chords. I can sing pretty good. A jammer. I think that's Matt. Matt's all. He's the jammer.
Yeah.
Matt at the bottom there. He's the
shredder. Yeah. So, Jason, you're a media professional, is what the kind of the term we use, because you do everything. You do the booking agent. You're a DJ. You write for the column. You're on the radio, and you play. So you're like the whole thing.
I don't do windows.
Good. What do you do? Do you do floors?
What's the question?
Do you do floors? Because I need my floors doing. So yeah, let's move on to Matt Funtime Pryce. What are you, Mr. Jammer?
I think Irwin nailed it, because I'm certainly not a singer, and I hide that with the loops and then just go into crazy effects and jam and whatnot. That's really what I like to do, is improvise and stuff. I'm looking at my live stream setup over here on the other side right here, and it's a wild amalgamation of pedals all ran into a big looper. And if you've seen some of the streams that I've done, even on your channel, Steph, they can get experimental. I like to improvise. I like to jam. The other ones kind of fade or are certainly secondary. I used to be in a metal band. I was the lead guitarist in a metal band in college, and I enjoy the shred. But jam is certainly the one out of those choices for sure.
Okay. I guess that says it.
That's it. Hey, I have a Grateful Dead tattoo. Does that end of fish?
Yeah, that's the end of it.
All right, I have a Grateful Dead tattoo and a fish tattoo. So okay. I mean, like, I'm really far into the stratosphere of course the jam.
I don't know if me and you can hang out, bud.
See, I love punk music too. I really do. I love it all. But I find, I don't know, the screwing around with modes and making funky weirdness in the in psychedelic type stuff just is the thing that gives me the most. I think I have the most fun doing it. Maybe it's because it's what I'm best at. I'm a shitty singer, so like doing ballads and stuff just makes me sad because they're so bad. I think if I was good, I would sit at the piano and sing Adele covers, but like it don't work out well. It's like a comedy routine. So, so I got to play some scales and play them faster, play them crisper, do some weird stuff with an envelope filter, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's what works for me, I guess. So,
right. Bob and Niki. Start with Bob. Shredder?
I guess mostly a jammer. I'm aspiring shredder. Real shredders would not think I'm a shredder, but like I got to quote Frank here where he talked about, he wasn't a virtuoso. He did what he did. He did it really well. I mean, like I've copied his Scottish bagpipe technique, which is a kind of a shred cheat. But yeah, mostly a jammer. I'm not really a solo player. I mean, I love working with loops. But I find that it gets, for me, I can't be creative enough to keep myself happy with that. So I like having other players, which I think again puts it into the jammer category. If things get going and I can play fast over that, and someone wants to call it shredding, that's good with me. But yeah, real shredders, no, I can't. I would love to be able to play like that, but so yeah, we'll go with jammer.
Okay. Niki?
I would say I land in the singer-strummer category, definitely. I grew up singing everything, and that's my heart, singing, my voice. And so I had to learn to play guitar so that I would have something to accompany my singing. So that's how I became a strummer. And I don't have any theory as far as guitar playing. Aside from that classical training I got for 6 months at Hilton, it's all like self-taught. It frustrates a lot of people I play with because they're like, play the 1-4-5. I'm like, what? A little bit to catch up. But for me, music evolved a lot from my emotion and my relation to the emotional side of music and being able to interpret my feelings in song. And so I was almost purposefully avoiding learning too much theory because I felt like it blocked my ability to express what I heard in my head. So that's why I landed in the singer-strummer category. I am jealous of the jammers because they have such great technique and they can express themselves musically with that technique and that emotion combined. And I aspire to that, but I'm not quite there yet. But I've had a lot of fun learning with Bob because I would agree he is in between the shredder jammer zone, and he shreds and jams in my world.
I bet he does.
Yeah, he does.
He sure does.
He does.
But it's that vibe of connecting that that creates that musical synergy that is a group playing together, and it's almost beyond the technique. And so I think when you think about shredding versus jamming, I always see shredding as more of this technique-based thing, although metal guys would be like, that emotion is so pure and intense. So I don't want to discount that.
Yeah, look at their faces.
The jamming vibe is more. The jamming vibe is more the vibe for sure.
Now, when you look at the shredders when they're shredding, and you look at those faces in there, and absolutely, it's ready. I'm there. You know, that's
It's
that
so
face.
hot.
It's like sex. No, it's like sex. They're like, oh yeah, and I got it, and that's what it is.
I'll stick with the sax.
Yeah, whatever.
Shredding, jamming, and sex sounds like a good recipe.
Okay, so we should talk to the shredder over here, Matt LaFarr. Matt, Mr. Shredder.
So do you find it difficult to play with a full erection? Is that what?
Interestingly enough, Shredders, Jammers, and Sex is the name of my autobiography.
Well played.
Good.
But I don't know if I consider myself a shredder, but I have some fun with that.
You can shred, dude.
Yeah,
So when you play with the Billy Joel stuff, that's like shredding in its own way.
That's the only time I get to play bass, so that's fun for me. But no, I'd like to do. I grew up on Kiss and Priest and Maiden and Ozzy and all that stuff, and then got into Chicago and Indigo Girls and Pink Floyd and Zappa, of course. Kiss, Frank Zappa, Indigo Girls. Those are
What
my.
is with you and Indigo Girl?
He loves the Indigo Girls. Yeah, he does. Though he's a
Kind of
pure
an odd inclusion.
He's a pure fan. Look, I was
Indigo Girls. Is that what I heard?
What's that?
the Indigo Girls. That's what he likes.
But who else? Kiss and Iron Maiden.
My three top band are Kiss, Frank Zappa, and Indigo Girls.
Okay, Frank Zappa.
That explains a lot.
Still confusing.
Hey,
But
I went to a concert with Matt to see his Zappa experience. He's a good person to go see Zappa with because he likes Zappa. He can explain things to me that I don't get. Yeah, you got great seats. But still, it's like, yeah, I see him. I see him, Matt. Yeah.
But so Kiss is the whole reason I became a musician. But Indigo Girls music means more to me than any other artist's music ever.
why?
Their lyrics and their songwriting and their harmonies, I just think they're brilliant.
Yeah, he's like a pure fan. He's a pure Indigo Girls fan. They are very good.
They're
They really are.
I agree.
But-
Respect,
They're
man,
that
respect.
too, but they're very good.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
But then I like to play some Iron Maiden and some Priest and stuff, of course, Extreme and all that stuff. I mean, it's a tough sell these days. When I used to play school dances at St. Mary's, it was 15 Kiss songs, 10 Iron Maiden and Priest songs, and 2 Tickets to Paradise.
Yeah, there you go. And then he went home with whatever girl was still standing there at the end.
That's right.
I'm not standing there.
Or not standing. Yeah, there you go. So,
Terrible. I'm terrible. I'm a bad girl.
Are you? What?
Sometimes.
Bad girl? No, you're not a bad girl.
No.
Here's the next question.
It's a lie. Who said that?
All right, we're going to go backwards. We'll start with Matt this time. Favorite show or event so far in your career?
Oh, geez. With Stormfront, we did a sold-out show at the Hard Rock Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. That was pretty fun.
Nice.
Treated like actual rock stars, got flown down there, and a couple thousand people, big professional stage and green room and hotel rooms and food, and that's fun. But I mean, the shows at the Strand with Ernie are amazing. 400 people screaming and yelling for all that stuff. But also,
those sold out shows are great if you're not down in the audience.
And the Full Moon, we used to play, the Full Moon with King's English for forever, and it's a small little towny bar.
But it was
we had
packed
some of the most fun ever
all the time. Yep, and it was always packed. I mean, you couldn't breathe in there.
Yeah,
I remember that. That's actually where I started filming.
Yeah,
with you guys in the Full Moon.
Yeah.
Mr. Pryce.
Sure.
Favorite show or event so far in your career?
I mean, there's a lot, but to get away from the jam band stuff and to give me some more cred in Jason's eyes, one of my favorite shows that I've ever played was a totally thing that I don't usually do. Usually I play with a ton of pedals, with a ton of loop stuff, blah, blah, blah. I played that nice stage in the Van Dyke, and I did Nirvana Unplugged with no pedals, just me and an acoustic guitar, just the whole record, including the Me Puppet stuff. And I mean, that was cool. I dressed up like Kurt. It was like, I think around Halloween. There was a lot of people there. And
what year was that? And I missed it.
It was only maybe 3-4 years ago. It wasn't too long ago.
Wow, I missed it.
Yeah, and then there are some other, sort of meaningful, fun shows where, a record release here or so-and-so's birthday was a good time, that kind of stuff. But that Nirvana show kind of sticks out because it was really out of my comfort zone. Usually I rely on the jamming and whatnot. That time it was just a acoustic into a DI box and my vocals and, 10, 11 songs or whatever it was. So... Yeah. Sort of challenging and fun to learn that whole record. I mean, it's one of my absolute favorite records. So,
right, Mr. Irwin, I know you're going to say CBGBs.
I was going to say that, but now I'm going to have to pick something else.
No, you're not. You could just talk about that because that's very impressive for a lot of people that you actually made it to CBGBs.
I
gotta go with that one. That was like a dream come true. Yeah. Phillips had my band at 25 years. We're not playing right now. I'm just doing solo stuff, but we had a really good run, and that was one of the highlights is going down and playing the most famous rock club in the world. Did it twice.
Yeah. And
there was only about four people in the audience, but it was still fun.
I got a question for Matt. Hang on.
I already answered it in the chat. No, I did not.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. No, I didn't play those Nirvana.
You didn't play it left-handed?
I did not play it left-handed. I did it the old-fashioned way, or the way that I've learned guitar for the last 20 years.
Don't get ahead of me on the viewer questions.
I'm so sorry. I'm following along at home.
I've got to organize. I know you are, but I got to organize this thing, and you're getting ahead of me answering questions, and then I look like an idiot. Okay, so Bob, favorite show or event so far in your musical career?
Well, a couple years ago now, we got to do with when we had a full electric band together, a show in Brooklyn at this place called the Branded Saloon. And a lot of my New York City friends, people who've moved down there from upstate, got to see the band. A lot of general turnout. It was probably one of the, for an originals band type project I've been involved in, it was probably one of the better shows. We rehearsed the living piss out of it. So there was, everybody was confident, even in a semi-unknown venue. So that was my personal favorite. And the other one I'll throw in, oddly enough, I worked with a reggae cover band for a couple years, and we got to play the Altamont Fair opening for God Knows Who, but they had they're
great,
extremely professional sound system, complete with like side fills and 2 monitor mixes for everybody. And I just remember almost again, to quote Frank, it was like the stage lifted off when the band started playing. just because it was so pristine and beautiful. And ever since then, I'm jealous of that. I want that again. That sound. And the band was nothing special. There was, not a lot. There was no originals. It was like a reggae cover band, but it was beautiful just because you were bathed in all this perfection of sound. I loved it. So those two.
Awesome. Yeah.
You guys are really deep.
Too deep for you, Jason?
Am I on the right show?
Okay, so I concur with the Boomerang. Not only was that my first New York City show, we got hired for a second New York City show off of that gig, which was incredible. And
Nice.
that was really amazing to me because I was so nervous. I'm so nervous before gigs. Don't talk to me. Like if you come up to me before I play or even after at a gig and I'm weird, no, sorry.
That's why.
Gonna happen. But we made it through and somehow we got hired for another gig. Like I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So that was really, really incredible. And my Altamont fare would be the Troy Pig Out. Vito Ciccarelli through Art for Debt hired me to do a solo opening gig for the Troy Pig Out. And I got that same sound system experience. And when you're treated like that, as a musician who's used to dealing with kind of haphazard setups, and you go in and there's professional crew there and their goal is to make it sound as good as possible, it's a really gratifying thing for someone who uses music as an emotional outlet, but isn't like doing it for a living, I guess. In my case, I don't play music for a living, unfortunately. I'd love to, but that's not the way my life worked. But being able to experience that feeling of having that treatment of you're showing up, and that was really one of my favorite experiences. So the Troy Pig Out, because Troy fucking rocks. I'm a Troy girl, hardcore. Woo!
Troy's got a pretty good music scene, I would have to say.
Representing.
Yeah. So you've all got day jobs. You're not all professional. Well, except for Jason. Jason is a media professional and puts a lot of his life into music. But I mean, he's had day jobs too. So you've all got day jobs. I know Matt does. You guys both do. Okay. So what would you do? Next question. What would you do to lift the reputation of original music in the 518? This question was thrown at me by somebody who is an original songwriter in the area. And they feel like they've been discounted because they write original music. And so it's harder to get gigs because they don't rely on covers. What is your thought about that, Mr. Irwin? About original music and how to lift it up?
My experience is that the scene fluctuates kind of back and forth almost every 5-6 years or something like that. Like I remember a time when original bands ruled the land. Yeah. And you got beat up if you were in a cover band. Yeah. and now it seems like in my area, the cover bands are a little more popular and original music isn't. So it kind of comes and goes in waves. What a lot of people do is they write their original music and they also learn some covers. And whether you're doing a solo show or a band show, to get more gigs and to get more exposure, you play some covers, pick some covers that you like, that you can do your own way. Then you won't get bored of doing those if you're an original person like me. Just stick with it. Try to stay out in the scene performing, even if you have to do a few covers, but keep mixing in your own songs, recording your songs, getting them out there, making videos for them. And just keep doing it. I know a lot of guys that are doing that, and you'll see them play out, and they'll do even a 4-hour show with a band. They're playing a lot of covers, but they're mixing in their own stuff. When I play a show by myself, I play some shows strictly original, some strictly covers, some mixed up. It's all different. Depends on the audience. Depends on the area. That's what I do. Is I just keep doing it.
Right. So just keep shoving it down everybody's throat, and then it'll become popular, right?
It's gonna be that kind of show.
I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah.
I really think that's such good advice.
It is.
Here's the reason why. When I was coming up, I had such a brain block against playing covers. Boy, was I like, I'm an original artist. I was really stubborn about that. And,
There's a few of those.
That's important to hold on to because your authenticity as an original artist is your gold. Your authenticity is your gold. You don't want to give that up. And you have to pick those covers that you can make your own to complement that. And I was always resistant to it. And I think it hurt me a little bit because it limited my audience. So I think the advice for someone who wants to do original music and to lift the reputation, first of all, you have to get out there. You have to go out, you have to meet people, you have to socialize, you have to network. You have to realize that there's other people doing original music that want to be heard. So if you connect with them, that's important. That's going to serve your overall goal. But you know, you have to pull in those covers because that is what draws people in to your sound, to your unique, authentic sound. So authenticity and not being afraid to pick those choice covers that are going to complement your sound and get you out there. But you have to get out there as well. You have to network. You can't be all about yourself. You have to also be about what else is going on and be part of the scene. Because if you're not doing that, you're going to be blocked.
I mean, it's you can just play original music if you want to. I mean,
you can, but you're not going to get paid.
You might not get as many gigs.
Right.
You're not going to get paid.
If you're stuck on doing it and you want to do that and that's all you want to do and you have another job and you don't need to do it, then do your stuff.
And there are guys and girls who are doing that. They're writing their own original stuff. They do it just weekend warriors, we call them. They just play like on the weekends at maybe 2 or 3 places in total where they're favorites and they know somebody, and that's their outlet for music. That's what they do. They work their day job all week, they play on the weekends, they play 1 or 2 gigs and a month maybe, and they're happy and they still write. Matt,
lifting the reputation of original music.
Yeah.
When you think about the reputation, it's more trying to inspire people to come out and support that. And unfortunately, sometimes I think that means bringing in cover songs to draw people to it. Because I don't know, aside from the younger crowds, if people are coming out to see original music, in my opinion.
Googs is a good example of a place that original music lives.
What's that?
A place called Googs in Glens Falls. It's a dive bar in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around. There's no other businesses around it. It's in a neighborhood, and they hire original bands, and they play just original music all night long, every weekend, and that place is popular. I mean, I've been there. I've filmed there. It's kids mostly, younger people starting out with their original music and constantly, filling the place with new bands and, very, very few covers, very few. Maybe at the open
mic.
That's
awesome.
That's definitely that's the hub in the Glens Falls area.
In Glens Falls, yeah. It definitely is. Matt LaFarr, I know that you have been playing in a lot of cover bands and tribute bands, but original music, what do you think?
Well, I don't even, these days, it's not even a thing where there's trouble for original bands. It's all in this area, at least, Glens Falls area, there's barely anywhere to play regardless of what you play anymore. You know what I mean? I mean,
it's true.
King's English has been around 20 years. Back in the old days, there were 15 bars within a stone's throw that were playing live music every weekend. And now they've closed, or in the case of some of the places, they just don't do live music. So, I think the lack of venues is almost as much of an issue as whether or not they want original bands. Because if you bring a crowd with your original music, people they'll hire you. I mean, Hot Shots used to have original bands there back in the day, but it's just there's so few places, and I guess those places don't want to risk it. I mean, Googs is doing an amazing job. There's nights there where it's packed, you know.
It's packed. And I've seen it quiet too, but most of the time on Fridays and Saturday nights, that place with
those guys aren't spending money, a lot of them, because they're 22-year-old kids with not a dime to their name, but you know, they're showing up and supporting the original band.
The music, yeah, they really are. Mr. Pryce.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's venue dependent. You can't really. There are certain places where if you are like you write Cat Stevens style original music, and you go and it's a bunch of like Saratoga ladies who want to dance to Uptown Funk. Like, there's obviously a disconnect there. So, you know, if people want to hear you know, Uptown Funk or like Ring My Bell, well, you know, the dancey type stuff, you don't play your folky original stuff there. So, I mean, you got to really know, you know, there's places for what you're, you know, for everything. I suppose you just have to find it, and you know, don't make the wrong kind of, you know, don't book a gig if you're not suited for the right thing. I mean, there are certain places where a solo guy doesn't work, even if he is doing just covers, and you need a full band for it to make sense. So, I mean, you know, I've done full original sets. I played nothing but covers sometimes. You know, it really depends. You just have to make sure that the atmosphere is correct for what, you know, the song selection, I suppose.
Bravo.
Makes sense.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in on the venue side. And what I was sitting here thinking is, I don't know, well, you people with the local music history will remember Bogies. And when I was active in like 2 or 3 different, you know, like whatever whack job psychedelic original bands in the early 90s, this would have been, you could get a gig there. There would be a professional sound person there. They had the green room. You could at least get high in the back. And, you know, the audiences respected a fairly wide variety of stuff, or at least as I recall it. You know, like I was never a big night hound, but, you know, I would go there to see other bands occasionally. And I don't know necessarily, you know, I don't know their financial model. I kind of suspect that someone did it more as a hobby and didn't need to make money off it. And I almost think that's what original music needs, is a venue where someone's committed to original music, maybe across genres more than is popular right now.
So,
and
just like that, you should shout out like Unihog, for example, in Hoosick Falls. I know you know,
for sure.
Like, that's the kind of place. This guy Jason, he's a great guy. He books talented stuff no matter what it is, and he wants to hear from you. You know, I played a ton of original stuff on that guy's stage. So to your point, like, there's got to be somebody who's even got a vested interest in it, you know?
Right.
That's a hard challenge for original music or music right now, is especially now, venues that are able to sustain it with their other businesses, because unfortunately for the micro music industry outside of the touring bands that are playing stadiums, and even that's on pause, you know, being able to invest in that is an incubator, and it's important, but it's hard for people to invest in with all their stress going on right now. So I'm hopeful that we find a way to continue to value that and support it as a community, because it's really important.
So that leads us right into my next question, which is, how is the New York State shutdown over the COVID-19 virus directly affected your music or business life in both jobs? So we'll start with Matt LaFarr.
Well, I've had some big gigs that were shut down. Some Strand shows, of course. Had some Stormfront shows down at the Jersey Shore for over the summer that were booked. Had some Stormfront shows in Connecticut and Boston, I think. All of those have been postponed. I mean, they've at least they've been rescheduled, so that's nice, but not till next year. But so, you know, we were supposed to play at the Strand last night with Ernie LaRouche and the Dirty White Boys. Which,
I was booked for that one.
You know, but you know, it's just, what are you going to do? It's been cool seeing everybody take their Facebook Live and do their thing, and, you know, put their music out there still. I try and tune into everyone that I can. I put out a couple songs here and there when I get a chance, and then hopefully with my son Max, we're gonna do something. He's 14.
Ooh, nice.
Plays guitar and piano, and right now he is obsessed with Pink Floyd. So we'll probably do some Pink Floyd stuff. And he's
very impressive for his age. I heard him when he was over at the theater. Yeah. He's very impressive, but he's getting a good lessons from a good teacher.
Yeah, well, and then so he's not in school right now, of course, because there's no school. So I wake up and 3 and 4 in the morning, I hear him in the living room plugged into my Marshall playing songs all night. He just doesn't go to bed. He just stays up all night playing. So I can't really yell at him for it because I'm like, all right, I'll take it. But, it's a shame to have all the gigs kind of get put by the side of the road here for a bit. But like I said, I do like getting to see some of my friends play online and stuff, which is cool. And then with my
essential worker.
Yeah, so I was laid off for a month, and then I got called back. I just finished my first week back. I was fine. There are people who this is really affecting. It didn't. Whatever. I would have stayed home for another month. I don't care. I don't. I'm not like, oh, I got money coming up. But I didn't need. I don't. I'm fine. I could have sat home. But I got called back to work, so it was nice to have a job to go back to. But so now I'm in a giant office with only 4 people because everyone else is working remotely. But so that's a little bit weird, just in this cavernous building, just sitting there doing stuff by yourself all day.
That's what my husband's doing up at Hudson Headwaters.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. They're all working from home, and he's sitting there making sure that everything works.
Yeah, which I don't mind. I just, listen to music and do my work.
I'm just keeping my boobs.
What's that?
What?
Did I hear something about boobs?
Wow, that microphone's way better than I thought it was.
Turn the gain down, guys.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So Bob, do you want to expound on boobs or?
Yeah, no. That's right.
No, we're just talking about how awkward it is to be on camera.
Yeah, I
bet. At any rate,
were you?
Right. I'm already subscribed to your OnlyFans channel.
Everybody, take it off.
This is the main goal: is for us to have more fans. So I'm glad to achieve that.
So was he suggesting that he shows his moobs, or you show your boobs?
Really? No, we got to get that guy from.
Where's Brother T?
Brother T. He needs to pinch some nipples.
On Janet Jackson.
What's that?
Just to keep your shirt on, Janet Jackson up there.
Janet Jackson up there, yeah.
Be tweaking somebody's nipples before the end of the night.
Well, I'm going over to you guys anyway, so.
We're all virtual, so you're safe. You can mark yourself safe on Facebook. All right?
We're safe.
But at any rate, I'm going to segue into how the New York State shutdown has affected me. Because first of all, I'm a parent. I'm a New York State worker. I'm an essential worker because I work at my co-op. And it's been a disaster. But also not. I feel very protected. I feel very lucky that I live in an environment where I'm not struggling to eat and have the essential things that I need, and my loved ones are healthy. So I'm grateful for that, and I want to help, but I feel powerless because I'm trapped inside this weird place where I can't go out and talk to people and interact with people and have contact with them socially, and it's really stressful. So as far as my music business, it's totally changed my music business. I was just ramping up a new open mic with Cochran's Tavern with Radio X. And we were really excited because we were having all these people coming out and building that community of original music and creating that space. And then we had to put it on pause. And I'm dealing with all this misinformation that I see on Facebook. And don't get me wrong, I love Facebook.
No politics.
I'm not talking face politics, but I'm just talking about this environment of where people are getting all this information and they're worked up and they're in a state of anxiety. They're afraid, they don't understand what's happening next. They want to be connected and they can't. and it's stressful. And music is about connection, so it's the opposite of what we need right now and what we want right now. And so that's been really stressful because my music isn't about making money as much as it is about making connections with people. So for me, it's been kind of stressful and sad, to be honest.
Jason, stop.
It's not me.
He's playing. Who's playing?
I didn't see that guitar.
Now, why would you play? Why are we always
stealing my thunder?
Because you got the guitar on your lap the whole show, and your girlfriend wants you to play a song. So, I obviously think it was you.
If only you like a bad guy, I'm a nice boy.
I knew Matt. I know you're a nice boy. Remember, I've known you a long time. Matt LaFarr. I knew you were going to do something, but I didn't know it was going to be that.
I was creeping in.
Creeping in.
I'd be behaving.
Camaraderie that we want. We want to interact.
Well, that's part of the reason I do the show, because so that people can talk to each other, and we're all going through something, so let's talk about it.
And actually, not to segue into a plug for you, but
don't plug me.
Because all of the things that I've been able to do to connect with people remotely has been because of you. And I am grateful for that. You truly,
you're very welcome. I enjoy doing it, and that's the only reason I do it. I don't make money at it.
Love you, Stephanie.
Sure. I love you too.
And so that's important. So I'll pass
pass it on to Bob. Do you want to talk about boobs, Bob, before you talk about this other thing?
Again, I'm going to try not to drag this down any more than I already have. So I'm just going to move on again. I'm very tempted, but it's not going to happen. I'm very lucky also, was able to go to full remote. Actually, hopefully this is going to convert my business, the small nonprofit I work for is going to go to full remote, which is great. I don't like driving to work. Awesome. That's fine. Losing the gigs, that sucks. People who have, we had a few gigs, they're lost. Maybe we'll get something back once things start happening. I mean, that's the weirdest thing is like, what is this going to be like? I have a hard time envisioning a socially distanced live concert, but maybe we'll all get out there and rock out with our masks on. I mean, there's acts I would probably want to go see. But I think it's going to be weird going forward. But, I'm a lucky person at the moment. I haven't lost my income yet. And I wish I was taking better advantage of the time I do have. Working at home is weird. It's not all it's cracked up to be when you get thrown into it. And I'm not really making full use of the time to redo the website and, all the stuff you could do that you say, I don't have time to do this. Well, by 2 hours, I'm not driving every day. Why aren't I practicing? Why isn't my website back up to date? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Be kind to yourselves. Don't put too much pressure on yourselves. I just want to say this. I put so much pressure on myself to anyone listening. Be kind to yourself. Don't put too much expectation on yourself. This is not the time for that. Just take care of yourself in little ways. It's okay.
Mr. Irwin, how's it affecting you?
Well, I do this for a living, so my whole world just got pulled out from under me.
Right.
I'm at the point where I was worried about it at first. Right now, I'm just kind of like, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and you're just trudging through. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot. I risk a lot by going full-time music, and that's a risk. I quit my day job years ago, and you don't expect something like this to happen. Who does?
Nobody does.
But, I'm out of work. I'm doing a few things. I got some projects going on. I still do some writing and everything like that. I'm doing the Facebook Live thing. It's a great break. I mean, but
looking at your garden.
It's definitely disruptive to my usual lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, you're working on the documentary.
You're becoming a filmmaker.
Yeah, I watched the entire series of Sopranos in like 4 days.
Oh yes, excellent.
That's a good thing to binge if you're going to binge watch something.
One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not stressing out over it. This is happening. So here we are.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to do your best to live through it.
Yeah, we persevere. We adapt and overcome.
Very well said. Mr. Pryce.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'm pretty lucky. I've been able to move my day job pretty much online. I work largely digitally, as it were, in an office. So going home with a monitor has not been too disruptive. And actually, I've been doing stuff like working on the website and things like that in my spare time too, or rather the time that would have been spent. It's actually almost easier to do that stuff from home than the office, which is always busy. But from a music standpoint, I definitely canceled solo gigs, places that I had played a bunch of times that I was excited to go back, places that I was debuting and, excited to get started with. We had a band show with the Purple Stuff at Dinosaur Barbecue on April 17th. That was going to be our sophomore album release show. So that's postponed. I mean, that was going to be a fun party. We have a bunch of songs in the can waiting for release, and that was going to be an album release show, which is always fun. We were going to play the first record and then play the second record, like 1 set, 2 set, and just do it. But cannot. So you go on. You wait.
I think I got mine for $5 back in the day.
What's that?
Jason's hawking his CD for $20.
Yeah, we were going to probably just give it away on Bandcamp, so or just whatever, give all the profits to Spotify, I suppose. But we're sort of sitting on it now. We kind of took a little bit of a lackadaisical approach to pumping it out because the actual date we were tied to, got canceled. I mean, I'm looking at I go upstairs. I got a calendar hanging on my wall with a bunch of stuff that's already crossed out for the next couple of weeks. So what do? You sit and wait. I've been going live and doing jams online as well. It's interesting. I actually find it more nerve-wracking, although it's less work. It's way less work because everything's already set up. It is more nerve-wracking, I think, to play online than it is to play on a live stage. I'd like to turn that back to the panel here. Do you find it the same? Because get up on stage, no problem. The energy is there. You start hitting your pedals, you start playing like actually amplified guitar stuff. And I don't know, the nerves just sort of go away. To me, I think playing online, all of your mistakes and, you can be so much more critical of it. It's all recorded. I don't know. It's way more nerve-wracking to me to go online than it is to play to a big crowd live.
I'm definitely going to jump in. You're absolutely right. I didn't think it was going to be the case because I love recording. I love playing, just whatever without an audience there. But playing for an audience that isn't there, very weird. I totally am with you on that. It's like, I know you're there, but you're not anywhere I can sense you. What the hell is going on? Yeah.
What is going on? Hey, somebody asked if we were wearing pants, so everybody's got to stand up and prove you're wearing pants.
It was Dave Rockhour, so Woo! I don't know why he's interested in our pants. I'm not standing up because I'm not standing up.
Because she's not wearing pants.
I'm wearing pants. Am I wearing underpants? No one will know.
I just want to say I am wearing pants, but I'm not wearing shoes. I'm wearing Darth Vader slippers.
Oh,
nice.
I'm gonna steal those.
I'm jealous.
Okay, so we actually are a little bit past 8:00. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Hopefully we'll get together and do this again, and stay connected with each other throughout this whole thing. I don't know what the future of this thing's going to be. I don't know how long we're going to be stuck at home, but I'm stuck at home. Jason, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Have you got your guitar handy?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend wants a song.
We want an outro.
His girlfriend wants a song.
I just want to prove that I can sing better than Wes Scantlin. Ready? how to.
It's like roll your boat.
To show you how to have a clue. Eat that, wow.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks, everybody. I enjoyed it. It was funny. See you later. And thanks to and by the way, thanks to Matt Pryce for my logo, and thanks to Matt LaFarr for the name of the show, because neither one of them came up with me. Yeah, rev it up.
I got a theme song for you too just now.
Oh, Jason, what do you want?
Ending on such a sappy note.
What do you want?
Steph, I wrote a theme song for you.
Gave it to me.
You what?
He's a good person.
I wrote a theme song for you.
For the show?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? Yeah, go ahead.
Another Sunday night, and you know where to go. You know what you like. Well revved up with Stephanie's show. You know what you like. Well revved up with Stephanie's show.
I like it.
Yay!
Come on, let's get a little more from Fun Time. He's got a guitar.
Let's get this guitar doing. Mr. Pat, Mr. Matt, Mr. Pryce.
Rev it up on a Sunday night. Rev it up on the interwebs. Oh my god! I always call this "Rev It Up."
Oh my god! I can jam.
Oh my god! No, Jason, you're not going to become a jammer. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll have you all back again, I'm very sure. And thank you to everybody who's watching. Thank you to the audience. If you come back next week, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the country show with Dave All and Renee Lucier from Skeeter Creek, and I've got Brad and Ashley from Big Sky Country, and a whole bunch of local country artists. So, come on back next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you as always. Tune in. If you've got suggestions for people to be on the show, drop them in my message box, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Hey, did you see my Kiss lunchbox behind me?
Yes, I see all your Kiss stuff.
Kiss lunchbox and thermos. See ya.
$20.
$20. Bye. You guys are goofy.